Hey everybody, I just wanted to start off this video with a little bit of music from my favorite band, or one of my favorite bands I should say, Operation Ivy, because I feel like it's appropriate with the subject matter, so. This song is about the spread of patriarchal influence in our world. Concrete has no sympathy. Indeed it doesn't, does it? I just wanted to actually get to share some music on one of my videos for once and kind of get into the mood of what I'm sharing here today. As I've said, my thoughts always come out much more clearly when I write, and I've done a lot of writing over the past several years. So for this video here now, I'm going to be doing a little bit of reading, so excuse my lack of eye contact with the camera. I got a lot of my old downloads I ended up sharing on Facebook. So I'll go back into my Facebook memories and be like, man, that needs to actually be shared wider than just writing. So anyways, here goes. This first part is started out talking about the dynamic in the Garden of Eden. You know, we're all very familiar with that old story, right? So I'm just going to read from here, okay? So, when we look at this story, we see the tale of when the collective began turning away from Mother Nature and shifted our focus to the sun. When we received abundance from Mother Nature, everything was even. We all had access to all Mother Nature had to offer. That's why she was named Eve. So let's look at this again from that point of view. Serpent wisdom is generally associated with the divine feminine. So when Eve ate the apple and offered it to Adam, it put her in the role of divine mother, offering him the truth of our nature. Just think of it. Why would God in this story not want us to know what we are? Because if we don't know, it's easier to lie to us, to make up any story they want, to rewrite our history, to rewrite everything we knew to be so, you know. Let's see, where was I? Because if we don't know, it's easier to lie to us. So in a very real sense, the names of Lucifer and Eve were cursed from this point on. This is how we have the earthly experience of the illusion of separation from source. I felt it like from my heart space. It was quite literal. They offered their names to be sacrificed for curse to bring about this very real experience for us because of the profound implications of making our way home to source. Okay, getting off from my rating. See, there's always more. But anyways, so this is how we have the earthly experience of the illusion of separation from source. This was also the beginning of violence in the world. See, when males took over ruling mankind, you know, why do we call kings rulers? Because they measure out, you know, resources, basically, to whoever needs them, you know. Okay, so in other words, see, when males took over ruling mankind, in other words, controlling the resources, now availability of abundance was no longer even. It became whoever adheres to the patriarchal matrix the best gets the most toys, the most treats, the most of what they need, right? So of course, if you were stronger, you take from the weak. As above, so below, and if you don't play the game, no food for you. This thinking erodes empathy, promotes a dog-eat-dog mentality. And that's kind of what that song was about, even though it's hard to hear the words. Crazy punk rock, right? They were talking about just the coldness of city life, you know, of urban living. It's all because it's patriarchal. Anyways, so then I also wanted to share this that I think corresponded well with it, which was one of my Facebook shares that I'd written probably almost a year ago. To all my fellow maleborns out there and sistars who seek to embrace their wholeness, please note, male energy seeks to devote itself selflessly to whatever brings up a feeling of devotion. But what we devote ourselves to is just as important to our wholeness as the act of devotion itself. We receive love and the blessings of the divine feminine when we give authentic devotion. But just a word of caution, pop culture has us devoting ourselves recklessly to people and or things that will only hurt our vibration. and betray our sense of sacred devotion. I want to say that when we don't use discernment with our feelings, we open ourselves up to being hurt and hurting others. We have only our lack of discernment to blame. So embrace your male energy, as it is sacred in nature, but it's time we stopped following blindly after what they say is fulfilling, is our nature. Bring our hearts and heads into the equation and use some of that female space that is, innate nature in all of us to let our discernment focus, not come from this place of lack as if everyone wasn't a part of ourselves, but a conquest to coerce blessings from, which only leads to the arising of shallow, unfulfilled feelings. When we, it's just like in the sense, like when you earn something for yourself as opposed to trying to take it from somebody else, it gives you a feeling, a sense of self-satisfaction, a sense of self-worth. When we have to trick people and, lie and cheat to get what they have, it doesn't cause a good feeling at all, Okay, and so then I added this thought onto it at the end here. We all come into this world and take the examples of the adults around us as truth, but they just did the same in their youth when their subconscious was wide open, and it's been going on and so on for generations. Nobody has asked. I don't know, this is how it was when I got here, okay? My suggestion is question everything we act upon based on what we were shown or told. Question anything you haven't yet experienced directly to be true. What I mean by that goes with my definition of the word understanding. If you've just been told and you go, I don't know, so-and-so told me that's how it was, and you can't prove what you're saying, it's time to ask the questions, Time to ask if it's true or not, because everything we experience firsthand, it's like, no, I know it to be so because I experienced it, and that's the way it works, Everything else we've been told is something we accepted when we were wide open, when our inner child, our subconscious was wide open to the influences of everyone around us. So if we're thinking about the inner child wide open to any influence around, and the information just keeps getting passed on and passed on and passed on with nobody asking the questions, where is this coming from? This is how we've gotten to this point. This is how the patriarchal New World Order has been in place for thousands of years. Yeah, just wanted to share that little bit today, you guys. All right, talk to y'all soon.